All right.
Welcome.
We have Mrs. Mary Conway here in the chambers. Mary, the commissioner have been requesting your presence here. They have some questions for you.
Yes.
Commissioner Regalado, there is Mary Conway.
Finally. Well, I saw you in the morning. Mary, there was an article in the paper which it didn't fell from the sky or anything. As you know, there have been a pattern of stories about no bids contracts, contracts that were awarded to certain lobbies who had friends. There have been a pattern. This is not just this article. This article had to do with something that we needed to vote on today, and we heard from HDR. I heard that you even talked to the person that wrote that article, so you went on the record and tried to explain. That media outlet has some public record emails and documents. So, you know, the credibility of the government. I mean, Congress has a lowest rating than the president, which is a lot to say. So the credibility of the government is not that good at this moment throughout the United States. So it's very difficult to vote on so much money without knowing the other side of the coin, without listening to you. And the fact that it's important to listen to you is because it seems to me, for what I understand, that there were that the people arrested in the department that you used to run, doing things that were improper, somehow were investigated by the police, and then you had to go out and hire a private detective. The water here is very murky, and I would hope that you will come not to explain to me. I read everything. I try to investigate. That's my nature. But to the people of Miami, the people do deserve an explanation, and sometimes, you know, sometimes the good guys look like the bad guys, and sometimes the bad guys or the bad girls or the good girls look. So, you know, help us understand here. Why do you think that this came to light? It wasn't because a paper just wanted to write something about Mary Conway and HDR. Why do you think?
Commissioner Mary Conway, Chief of Operations. I wish that was a question that I could answer, but it's really not. I would just remind the Commission, I put together an email and a package of information that I sent out to each of you last night that included my factual statements on my behalf and a signed affidavit by Diane Johnson, who is the previous city employee who did put together the package. I put together some other information about things that I thought were possibly strange coincidences, and the rest is really up for you to look at that information and evaluate it and make your own determination. I can't answer that. I'm sorry.
Are you still a city employee? I mean, can we say that?
As far as I know today, yes.
Yes, she is.
Okay. So my question is, what can we say to the people of Miami about the perception that have been questionable, awarding of contracts and change orders and and, contract without bids. What can we say to the people of Miami?
From my perspective, during the time that I've been with the city, which would have been September of 2003, I think that we can be honest with the constituency and let them know that we weren't necessarily in the best position to be able to deliver the projects that were funded through the bond at the beginning, but that a team of people worked very hard to put in place the tools that were needed to be able to deliver that program. And there were high moments and low moments, and those have been discussed at each of these meetings. Each one of you have experienced difficulties and challenges of establishing a capital program in a very short period of time to take the city from generating $15 million worth of projects a year to over 100. A typical project takes 3 to 5 years just for the procurement of a consultant to design it, the actual design, the permitting through regulatory agencies, the time to procure a contractor, and then the time to build a project. It's a very time-intensive program, and I think that despite the challenges that the city faced, that the constituency should be proud at what the administration has been able to deliver. And it's very unfortunate what happened with the investigation, which unfortunately I'm not prepared to discuss because it is ongoing, it is not completed. And it's unfortunate that that happened, but I also think that it's notable that it wasn't the House of Lies. It wasn't something that the Miami Herald discovered or someone discovered. It's something that the administration from within identified a problem, recognized it, and went to extreme lengths to make sure that we got to the bottom of it, and the taxpayers deserve that.
Yeah, let me ask you some questions. And I won't get into dates or times unless you think I can. When you first became aware of a problem, did you alert a superior?
Immediately, yes.
And did the superior give you instructions what to do?
Yes, we worked as a team throughout the entire process.
It's my understanding that that then went into a failed investigation, correct? In other words, an investigation that went somewhere and then was determined by the chief of police to no longer go any further.
There was an initial investigation that didn't yield anything that was actionable.
Okay. And then some period of time goes by?
That's correct, until we were able to do further investigation.
And then you took it upon yourself with some superiors to conduct sort of an internal investigation?
That's correct.
And that internal investigation included the use of private investigators, correct?
That's correct.
And it included the use of computer programming that allowed you to see what was on the alleged people's screens that were inevitably arrested, correct?
That's correct. At my request, the city leased and obtained licenses for that equipment, for that software.
And then you consolidated all this information with your superiors and then went once again to the city attorney, correct?
To the manager, employee relations, the city attorney's office, and the police department, yes.
Okay. And then from there, it was pretty much out of your hands?
Then at that point, it was turned over to the police and the state attorney's office for them to take it from there.
What's the longest period of time that you were aware of a problem and you took action? I mean, how long are we talking about?
From the time that this first came to my knowledge,
yes,
until I went to my immediate supervisor, was the same day.
The same day?
The same day.
And then your supervisor went to that person's supervisor?
And then reached out to, I mean, they'd have to speak for themselves, but I went to the assistant city manager the same day that the information came to me, and then the wheels were put into motion to address it through proper channels.
Okay. Now, just talk to me about HDR, because it seems to be the point of contention here. At any time, did you have HDR prepare the RFP?
No.
Explain, just for the people watching TV, what is an RFP, very in layman's terms?
RFP stands for Request for Proposal.